Okay, hello everyone and welcome. Hope you're all having a good night. My name is Sara Vander. I'm a librarian at the Novi Public Library in Michigan. I don't know where you all are coming from. The beauty of these Zoom meetings is you could be anywhere in the world right now, so I'm glad you're here. So I just want to let you all know about some exciting things we have going on at the Novi Library this Pride Month. So if you happen to be in the area and want to visit the library, we got some great displays. On the first floor, we have a Libraries Are for Everyone display, and we have that out every month. That's in the youth area. And so every month we recognize all the wonderful holidays and cultural holidays that are happening that month. So of course, June is Pride Month, so we have some great Pride books out on display there. And then if you go on up to the second floor, we have a great teen display of YA young adult Pride books, as well as an adult display as well, which includes fiction, nonfiction, biographies, graphic novels, so whatever you're interested in. And then we also are excited about having a Pride Month reading challenge this month. So if you go on the library's website, which is novilibrary.org, you can find all the information there. Basically, you can just log your 3 books that we encourage you to read that feature a LGBTQ character or real person, and you will be entered into a raffle to win an exciting prize. So check it out. Also, next week, we have another program. Let me give you the title here. So it's called Supporting Mental Health and Wellness for LGBTQ Youth. And we're excited to have a guest speaker. His name is Danielle Humphreys, and she is a youth suicide prevention and wellness specialist. And so if you want to check it out, Danielle will be sharing about her work that she's done in preventing youth suicide, particularly relating to LGBTQ youth. Also, in case you're not aware, we have a group called Pride and Joy that meets every month at the Novi Library. Right now, it's all virtual. Hopefully, maybe soon we can open back up to in-person meetings, but it's the first Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. It's taking a break during the summer, but check us back out in the fall. Again, that's the first Wednesday of every month. It's just a group of people that get together to talk about how we can uplift the LGBTQ community. So if you have an LGBTQ child or a family member, or you just want to learn more, this is a great group to meet some new people. So yeah, I think that's all I have to share with that. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Sara Cunningham, who we are so happy to have today. Go ahead, Sara.
Thank you so much. And I'm just so encouraged by the programs that you offer there. I mean, if I'm going to tune in to hear Danielle Humphreys, and I'm interested in hearing what they have to say, and the group that you're having there. That's so wonderful. I hope that you'll get to meet in person soon, because really it just makes so much a good difference. Let's see, I think, okay, little housekeeping here. This is my first time to run a slideshow by myself. And you have to understand where I'm coming from, because I just learned how to Zoom like a year ago by myself. So I'm glad it's with you, because I know you'll be patient with me. And I feel like I have to share everything with you, just in case we don't see each other ever again. And I want you to know everything. And a lot's happened in a very short amount of time. So Adrian, Sarah, Carol, you got to let me know if I'm talking too fast. Just say, calm down or something, and then I will. So I'm going to share my screen and share a slideshow with you. If I can find it. It's on my desktop. See, this is how it's going to be. Share screen. Oh, you know what? Maybe because I'm not the host.
Okay, let me see. I can make you the co-host if that makes a difference.
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
That's okay. And Sarah, once you hit share screen and you choose like the view that you want to share, then at the bottom you have to hit share again.
Okay, maybe. The slideshow that I want to share is on my desktop. That's not it.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. If you hit share screen again, it should give you several different options. Maybe there's just a different window that you need to select rather than like your browser screen.
Yeah.
We have all been there. Do not worry about a thing.
Oh, my goodness.
It's okay.
I'm afraid I'm going to lose you if I close something out. I was practicing this all afternoon.
Can you drag your presentation over your browser window? Maybe it will just.
Let me see. I'm going to make this a little smaller. This is how it's going to be. Okay, hold on. There it is.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna open it up. Who told me what to do?
Well, this is Adrienne, and
Okay.
I've exactly done what you're doing, and it's okay. They need to just make it more user friendly, I think.
Yeah, they do.
It's not our fault, right?
Come on. See, I had it all loaded up, and now it's gonna have to reload.
That's okay.
It's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be so worth it. You're gonna say, "Thank God we waited until that thing loaded up."
Absolutely.
No worries. Yeah, we've had the same issues too, like doing like some of these online Zoom meetings, like with everybody across the state. So I have like a backup one in case this one doesn't work for you. So we'll be okay, no matter what.
Thank
You got it.
Okay, can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Okay, if I close this out, will that be okay? I'm afraid I'm
Yeah.
gonna lose you though. If I close this
I
out,
think it'll be
okay.
open. Well, why don't you shrink it? Why don't you hit the yellow one?
Yep. I love you so much.
To be safe.
I love you so much. Okay. Here's my cursor.
And then maybe you have to double click that again. Looks like it's loaded.
Yes. Okay.
You did it.
Thank y'all. Okay, now I gotta go to presenters. Presenters. Maybe it's that one. Maybe. Dun, 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 dun.
Yay.
That's our logo. We had it designed, and I wanted something very simple that could be seen, at a glance, far away, and it's just proven to be very successful in that degree, and it's recognized worldwide. And I couldn't be more thrilled. Let's see how to move this box. All right. Well, you know my name. My name is Sara Cunningham, and I use my pronouns. I think it's very important that we do that, and I see a lot of you have as well. Thank you for that. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I've been married over 30 years to my husband. We have 2 children, and our youngest son is part of the reason why we're here today. Our oldest son, Travis, is straight, and our youngest son, Parker, is gay. And the picture of the book is a book that I wrote from the journey that we took from the church to the Pride Parade. And therefore, after I became founder of Free Mom Hugs. And so I'll share the story with you about how this all happened. This is in 2014. My husband and Parker were standing at the 2014 Oklahoma City Pride Parade. It was my first intentional interaction with the gay community. And I was still kind of on the fence here. I wanted to support Parker. but I was still on my own self-discovery. He had come out of the closet by this time, and I was still kind of into mine. I didn't take the news very well when he first came out. I behaved badly and I hurt him. I shamed him. He spent his whole life trying to come out to me, but I changed the subject. I thought it was a phase. I was not supportive at all. And we raised our children in a mainstream evangelical conservative church, and we all absorbed this idea that homosexuality is wrong, the unforgivable sin, condemnable to death for eternity in burning hell. And that's what I believed, and that's how I raised my children. And it caused a lot of harm. And so when Parker came out, I was frozen in that fear, thinking, he's going to burn in hell. And if that's the case, then I'm going to fight for him like my hair is on fire. And so I didn't know where to look for resources at the time. I thought I was the only mom in Oklahoma with a gay kid with these crazy thoughts in her head. And I just needed someone who shared my faith to tell me it's all right to search the matter out. And as I tried to share with our peers in our church home of 20 years, they just didn't know how to minister to us because no one ever talked about it. We didn't have same-sex couples in our church, certainly didn't have same-sex marriages, and no one ever talked about it. But we learned about it through the scriptures that we are now finding have been misinterpreted, misused, and misunderstood. And so I was frozen in that fear. And about the same time that the book came out was in 2014, I found a private online Facebook group for moms like me. And there were 250 moms in that group at the time. And we all had the same story of feeling alienated and separated from our families, from our church homes. And as we were kind of navigating through this acceptance and affirming and supporting our children and their living authentically, suddenly my testimony became less and less, and it just put an awkward space between me and my peers in our church home. And it was devastating because soon there was no conversations. I wasn't invited to the Bible study. Parker wasn't asked to, go to youth camp or help with the youth anymore. It was devastating. And like I said, I don't think it was intentional. We just didn't know how to minister to each other. So we stood at the Pride Festival in 2014, and by 2015, by now I'm volunteering at PFLAG. I'm getting plugged into the community, and I'm hearing stories about how they have been alienated from their families, separated from their church homes, and learning about laws and policies that affect my child and families like ours. Like, for example, I learned that my straight son has more rights than my gay son. Who knew? I didn't. I'm the least politically minded person you'll ever meet. But once I learned that, I found out more about conversion therapy, reparative therapy. That's any type, listen, this is important. Conversion therapy, reparative therapy is any type of practice, therapy, or prayer that would try to change someone's gender identity or sexual orientation. And I had to learn about that too. Gender identity, sexual orientation. They're two different things. And the way I remember them, and I hope this will help you too, if you're wondering, is that gender identity, everybody has one. Do you feel like a boy? Do you feel like a girl? Do you feel like maybe both or neither one? And that's okay, because everyone has a gender identity. Now, sexual orientation, that means who are you attracted to? Like, who do you want to hold hands with and be with? That's sexual orientation. And there's many degrees of this. I learned about the acronym, the LGBTQIA2S+. I love it. It's a tongue twister and real awkward if you're not used to hearing your mouth say those letters in that way. But I find that, or I hear from the community, that as they consider that acronym and those letters and the definitions of them, that they're able to see themselves there, that they go, that sounds like how I feel. And they're able to talk about it. They have a vocabulary, and they're able to explore it and then express it. See, one thing I didn't do with Parker is I didn't allow him space to have a conversation. I didn't offer the vocabulary because I didn't know. I had trouble even saying homosexual, seriously. And so I was learning all of these things. So in 2015, I made that homemade button and went to the Oklahoma City Pride Festival. And with anyone who made eye contact with me, I would say, can I offer you a free mom hug? And the first beautiful young girl, we made eye contact, we embraced. She whispered in my ear, she hadn't had a hug from her mother in 4 years because she's a lesbian. And I said, as I held her tight, well, I'm a mom and here's a hug and I'm not gonna let go until you do. And that was the spark that lit the fire, because that day in 2015, that Pride Festival, I went home covered from head to toe with glitter, but I also had horror stories ringing in my ear about conversion therapy, reparative therapy, experiments, and just kids living out of their cars. And it was just heartbreaking. And I went home accountable to what I learned that day. Soon in 2016, some moms, we started getting together and we made a banner. That was the first logo that we used. That was made by a mama bear in the private group. She let us use that logo. And we just started showing up at Pride festivals and events like Second Chance Prom. And we started making events our own. This is just a small chapter in Oklahoma City. I don't know, there was probably about 4 or 5 of us that would show up consistently. And it was a wonderful experience. And when we showed up with that banner, the free mom hugs right here, we had people climbing over the barricades to get hugs. And that's another confirmation where I knew we got to do this. This needs to happen, and just pour into the community that we love them, we celebrate them. And when we hug, we just encourage them. Like, we're so glad that we're here together. We love you. We're celebrating you. Now go have fun with your friends. Today is your day. And we just encourage them that way. Am I talking too fast? Can you even hear me?
Perfect.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Now, soon we started going on tour. No matter where you stand politically, in 2016, after that election, we started hearing great fear and anxiety from the moms, from the community. And I literally laid in my bed and I thought, Lord, what can I do? And he said, well, you got that banner. And I thought, I'm going to walk that banner to Washington, D.C. I was going to like Forrest Gump it. But then I started talking with friends and they convinced me that, it would take a long time to do that. So we made a plan to travel from Oklahoma City, our gay district, 39th Street, to the Stonewall Inn. It's a tour. Typically, it'll last 2 weeks with 10 city stops, and the destination is always a site that's significant to the community. And when I say community, I mean the gay community, the LGBTQIA2 Spirit Plus community. So, and we always land there on Mother's Day. The plan is to spend Mother's Day with those who don't have a mom to spend Mother's Day with. And we've gone to, the first tour was the Stonewall Inn. The second tour, Parker and I took to the Matthew Shepard site. If you're not familiar with the Matthew Shepard story, his life and death changed the way America talks about hate crimes and handles hate crimes. He was a young gay man who was beaten, terribly beaten, and left for dead, tied to a fence post in Laramie, Wyoming. That was every mother with a gay kid's worst nightmare. But we went on tour there and we educated along the way, and we faced our fears on that trip. So by 2018, I'm getting involved with the community, and I became an activist. Some people called me the accidental activist, because the more I was learning about what was happening to this community, I was accountable to those things. So I started advocating. And soon same-sex couples would ask if I would officiate their wedding. That's something I had to search out too, but I do consider same-sex marriage as holy, just as sacred as I consider my own marriage. And through that, I started hearing from these couples that their parents were not acknowledging the relationships, refusing to come to the wedding, and they were devastated. So out of frustration, I made a social media post with my hand in the air, and it says, if your mom won't attend your same-sex wedding because your biological mom won't, then you call me, I'm there, I'll even bring the bubbles. That post went viral, and I had to Google what going viral means. But it was shared all over the world. It gained national attention. And what happened is that people all over the world said, I'll be there too, I'll stand in too. And the reaction was just amazing. It was very positive for the most part. We heard from the community just crying out of, of thanks, and from moms and dads and friends and allies just wanting to stand in. And remember, the small chapter in Oklahoma City, nobody really knows about it yet, right? So then I got a private message from Jamie Lee Curtis, and she asked, she was intrigued by this post, wanted to know more about it, what inspired it. And so we had a couple of conversations, and she found out about that book. And now she read it, she loved it, and she acquired the rights to the book. And now she's going to direct and play me in a movie called How We Sleep at Night, the Sara Cunningham story. Now, it should have already been done and out, but due to COVID, it was pushed back. We've got the green light. We're just waiting on time in her schedule that she can do it. But it'll happen probably later this year or early next. 2018, again, we're going viral. We're being invited to the Today Show here, the RuPaul show. That's Parker and I in front of the NBC studios in New York City. And we were making magazine covers, or not covers, but inserts on People magazine, Oprah magazine, and now we've gone into the New York Times recently on Entertainment Tonight. It's been a wonderful experience. And it was invited to speak at the HRC Thrive conference. And we were invited on the Drew Barrymore recently. And it just was announced today that Ross Matthews is going to be on the Celebrity Family Feud. And that's where they play this game for nonprofits. And guess what? He chose Free Mom Hugs. It's going to be out, I think, Sunday. I don't know what time, you have to look it up, but Celebrity Family Feud. And there's the New York Times. The UPS, I don't know if you've seen that. If you Google Sara Cunningham or Free Mom Hugs UPS, you'll see a video that they surprised me with. They came to our home and they told us that we were entering a contest. But the reality was they were going to surprise me with not me, but Free Mom Hugs, with a huge donation and sending out 400 care packages. At that time, we could only send out, I think, 100. They sent out an additional 400. They surprised me with the whole thing. And that video, if you get a chance to watch it, it's real sweet. But it just won the Webby Awards. And that's the highest played videos or ranked videos on the internet. It's quite an achievement for the film producer and director. So they did a good job. Oh, there's the Webby Award right there. And this is a stand-in short feature film inspired by the stand-in. And let's see, our mission. I love our mission statement. I think it says everything. Free Mom Hugs empowers the world to celebrate the LGBTQIA. We need to add two-spirit on that. Plus community through visibility, education, and conversation. And all of those things are so important to be visible in our allyship, to be advocates for our children. Education, there's power in love and education that will save lives. And conversations, people sharing their stories, talking about people that they love who are gay, sharing their stories if they're gay, and just sharing our stories, having a conversation, a dialogue like this. What I would have done if my local library was having a conversation like this. I'd be so happy. It probably would have made things a lot easier for my family. And, but we do a lot of things to go beyond the hug, and all that by going beyond the hug. Listen, to be part of a Free Mom Hugs chapter, we only require that you show up for Pride. That's the only requirement, and that you be fully affirming. That means you'll honor same-sex marriage, celebrate the community, and show up for Pride. But more times than not, our chapter leaders and our volunteers, they get plugged in, they start volunteering, they just, and then it's one great big happy family. And we became a full-fledged nonprofit, 501c3. We've got a national board of directors. We've got 3 full-time staff. Myself, we have a project social media director and an executive director. Jamie Lee Curtis made a nice donation so that I could quit my job. Prior to this, I worked 20 years in a architectural firm just as administrator. But I'll tell you, I worked for that job for 14 years before anybody knew that I had a gay kid, because nobody talked about it. There were jokes at the water cooler, inappropriate conversations about the community, but I didn't have a voice. But after 14 years, when all this was going on, I found my voice, and I was able to have conversations and change the conversations at the water cooler. But I was also able to quit my job because I couldn't continue with Free Mom Hugs going viral and the movement and be fair to my employer. So I'm so happy to be employed by Free Mom Hugs doing what I love to do. I mean, I look forward to getting up every day, and it's just been a highlight of my life. And we have volunteers across the country, chapter leaders who are dedicated. I mean, if something were to happen to me, our chapter leaders have taken the baton and gone beyond the hug more than I ever thought possible. They're just like the small group here. There's a replica of that in every state. And I'm so happy. I couldn't be more pleased with the dedication and the heart that our chapter leaders carry. And we also have a huge following on social media. That really saved us through the COVID pandemic because we had our social media following. Now, what we do, we attend Pride festivals, the Free Mom Hugs tour, and during COVID, we arranged for some Pride rides, national Pride rides, and that's just a parade in cars where we just share the love. Attend and plan events significant to the community, card packages, you know what I meant, care packages, card campaigns. We stand in at weddings. We bring awareness to laws and policies that are harmful to the community. We're working with a human rights campaign, equipping our chapter leaders to be able to speak to laws that affect our children and families like mine, and so much more. And here we just have a picture I'm sharing with a GSA group. That's a Gay Straight Alliance in high school. And education, visibility, and conversation comes into play here. We serve on panels, present at libraries and universities. We share our stories to encourage the youth and highlight the importance of parental love and support, that every home would be affirming. Here we have corporate presentations, no matter how big. I've spoken to book clubs of 4 people, or a library with I don't know how many, to AT&T that was streamed throughout, probably, I don't know, maybe 1,000 or more. And so I'm happy to. Talk show appearances, podcasts, webinars, town halls, appearances in print, and there's the magazines that we were in. And here's just more. Jamie Lee Curtis made the announcement that she was making the movie, and that just really set us off. There's her and I there. And just see the pictures. And these are some of the partnerships we've had. HBO, Vera Bradley, this is their 2nd year to partner with us. Barefoot Wine, also their 2nd year. UPS been very generous to us. And Love's is a local, they originated in Oklahoma. They're a conservative company, but they've also their second year to invite me out to speak. And it's been very rewarding to see conservative companies just kind of take that first step. And then once they realize that lightning's not going to strike, you know, they go deeper into the water. And it just sends a great message to their patrons, to their employees, to families like mine and moms like you. Now, this is a reality check. This is from 2010 to 2020. This is from the MAPS project. Let's see if it'll come up there. There's a website called LGBTQ MAPS, and it's the Movement Advancement Project. You see the red, orange, and green. This is for the LGB, etc. community. And of course, the red means it's dangerous. It's not necessarily a place or safe place or healthy place for our gay friends and family to be. This lower map is for the transgender community. That's what they face. And this is from 2019 or 2020, beg your pardon. And it relates to relationships, parental recognition, just all these different aspects that affect, you know, our patrons, your neighbor, people on this call. So think about how this living situation affects your friends and family who are gay. I mean, this to me just made me shake as I considered where my friends are, even in Oklahoma. You know, the Marriage Equality Act passed. We have same-sex marriage that's legal, but we also have conversion therapy that's legal. And call to action, what can you do? You can volunteer, you can join a chapter in your area. And by this, you can go to Free Mom Hugs website. That's freemomhugs.org. You can find your state chapter, or you can just be on Facebook and type in Free Mom Hugs and your state, and that will bring you to the Free Mom Hugs chapter in your state. If you like and follow that page, it will keep you up to date of everything happening in your area, and you can just show up. And we need monthly donors to sustain. We are a nonprofit, even though we do have supporters, that's not ongoing. It's not consistent. So we need monthly donors to continue the mission of Free Mom Hugs, to support our chapter leaders, to train their volunteers and equip them to be successful in speaking to laws, pouring into the community, and being a loving presence in the lives where they are. And that is the Free Mom Hugs presentation. I think I'm going to stop the share because that's done. And are you guys still with me?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. How was it? That was the first time. Be honest.
That was
So
great.
good.
I'm
Yes.
impressed for the first time. This
Yeah.
is good.
I gave myself a hot flash. Yeah, I want it to be good because I'm a visual learner, but I don't want you to be bored either. And so anyway, thank you for your patience. Thank you for tuning in. And I don't know how we're doing on time. If you want to take some, I'm happy to take some questions. There's no right or wrong questions. I'm pretty transparent.
Yeah, we have lots of time. So if anyone has any questions, you can unmute yourself or you can ask it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll ask one. Sarah, it was so great. Thank you so much. I knew a lot of that, but not all of it. And it was awesome to hear and just to see the progress. I first met you in 2017 when the year you were doing the big tour, and I thought that was amazing. That was the year that my oldest daughter came out, and I found myself in very similar shoes that you were in when your son came out to you. And you were the person on the phone with me telling me, you know, it's okay to search this out, and introducing me into the moms group, which changed everything really for me. So I thank you, and I thank Liz Dyer who runs that group. It's called Serendipity Doodah. It's on Facebook if anybody is looking to join that group.
Yeah, I'll send the resources so they have it.
Oh, thank you. So my question for you though is, And I like how you said that you understand that the friends that you had in your church community at the time just didn't know how to minister to you, that you didn't know how to support your son. And likewise, these people, just didn't know how to treat you or your son. What would you say to people, either the parents like you and me in that situation, or even the friends who, love their friend and love their friend's kid, but do not know how to show support, though if they haven't done the work, theologically?
Yes, I would say to those of you who have kind of had this awkward distance, since if you're trying to support and celebrate your child, make your home a safe place, and if you have family or extended family or even neighbors that are just not accepting, I think there's a level, either they're trying to understand, they're trying to have a conversation, you can talk to them across the table and just share your thoughts with them. But a lot of times if they're trying, like in a religious organization, like with our former church, they only had the scriptures to use, like hate the sin, love the sinner. They thought that Parker had turned, given himself over to, the enemy of the flesh. And with each prayer, it just felt like stacking stones. Like all of a sudden my son was unworthy or broken, or, that he was, I want to say dirty or something, like untouchable. So it just grieved me. It grieved my spirit. It grieved him. So all that to say, if you have someone sharing with you, be sensitive on how you react, and maybe just listen and try to encourage that person to search the matter out if you're on the other end of this. If you're a mother and you're hearing the words, how you react will often have a ripple effect. For example, when I found out, I cried to my mother. I was just sorrowful, and that affected her and how she reacted, rather than saying, Mom, Parker came out as gay. We're going to support him. We're going to figure this out. And I want you to love and support him just as if you would otherwise. And then it would have changed the whole scene. I have some extended family who said Parker is not welcome in their home, certainly not with a friend. And so I don't go. Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Sometimes you just need boundaries, because if you can't surround yourself with people who love and support you as you love and support your child, then you need to find some, because we're here. And hopefully the other people will come around too. And also, there are tons of faith-based resources out there. So many wonderful resources that really the only choice is to remain in that stance of ignorance. And I use that term respectfully because I've been there. But there's so much information out there now that no matter where you stand historically, scientifically, scripturally, biblically, to not have a better understanding on this, and to see the community as a beautiful expression of human sexuality, a gift to this world from God, a dynamic in your family, and just as a beautiful and important part of our history and our future. So, anyone else? Question? No questions? I see.
Can I ask another one then?
Oh, yes, please. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. Did somebody ask one in the chat? I don't see.
Okay. Lots of great comments on your presentation. And just a reminder that your Celebrity Family Feud is Sunday, June 27th at 8 Eastern time.
Thank you, Carol.
I was just going to ask, how's Parker doing, and what's next for him? It's so awesome to see both of you doing this together.
Yeah, Parker's doing great. COVID was kind of hard on him, just feeling isolated, but he just got back from a short trip with some friends in Colorado, and he just got back from that. So he's doing very well. He's been very helpful in Free Mom Hugs, and he's just wonderful. I just love him so much. And I'm just so glad that he made it. He survived me. But he's doing great. I'll tell him that you asked about him.
Yeah, thank you. And I thought of one more question
Yes.
with the 2S, the two spirit that's now added to the LGBTQIA acronym. Can you explain a little bit what that is for anybody that's not familiar?
Yes. Well, I'm kind of learning about it myself, but I've learned that the Two Spirit community, that acronym is specific to the indigenous culture. And it's the beautiful, again, expression of human gender identity. And like I said, I'm just learning about it too, but Two Spirit is very important. It is different than, if I understand it correctly, it is different than being transgender. They're not the same. And it is specific to the indigenous people. You could probably Google it better than I could probably explain it, because I'm just learning too. But it's very intriguing. It's a beautiful expression. And I think in some cultures it's considered, I don't want to say deity, but, you know, considered very highly esteemed. But other cultures, you know, for example, they just can't find work. And so they end up in sex trade. And that's the only living that they can make. And like in India, it's very difficult how it changes from culture to culture, demographic, geographic.
Thank you. Things
Questions?
keep evolving, don't they? And changing quickly. Just, it's important to just try to stay involved and stay educated, because it seems like things change frequently. Our kids know everything that's going on right there. If you're on TikTok, you probably know everything. Those of us that are not as social media savvy, TikTok savvy, it's okay to ask the questions, I think. And
yes, it's okay to not know something. And, you know, the community is so forgiving and so graceful that, you know, if you want to know and you inquire, then, you know, you'll find out. I'm still learning. I'm on a huge learning curve. But I do love the acronym too, and the plus, because it's just expansion. I think the more we discover about gender identity, it's just going to blossom even more. I mean, you think about just how different we are, even though we have similarities, but I just think it's fascinating. I really do. Any other questions? It's about 6:45.
Well, I don't have a question, but
Yeah.
I am going to do a shameless plug for Michigan real quick.
Oh, please do. Yes.
We have a lot of events coming up. The next week or so left in June is busy. We have Hotter Than July in July, which is actually virtual. We have an event in South Lyon, which is their first Pride ever. We have Motor City, which is coming up later this year. A lot of our prides locally went virtual, or some of them dramatically condensed what they were doing to try and work with the COVID restrictions here in the state, as that all of those things just lightened up yesterday.
Wow.
So pretty much, if there is anything that is going on, it's being posted right now on the Free Mom Hugs Michigan page.
Yeah. How can they find your page? Tell them.
Yep, on Facebook. Yep, you can go right onto Facebook, and I'll share the link in the chat too.
Okay,
you can go right to there. Also by region. So if you're in the Southeast Michigan area, if you're in the Northwest part of Oakland County, if you're in Macomb, some of our regional leaders are on here now too, actually. We have lots of events that you could come and put on some awesome Free Mom Hugs gear that badly need us. Like the story that Sarah had shared before, I had a very similar experience when I was hugging in Detroit, and just a kid just devolved in my arms. It was just like my parents kicked me out at an early age, never accepting of what I was. And I'm like, honey, I'm here for you, and I'm not going to let you go until you say you want me to. And that's kind of how this goes, we're here to show our love and support for this amazing, beautiful community. So please check us out on Facebook. Please help us support some of these amazing big sponsors like Vera Bradley and Barefoot Wine and things like that, so we can keep this message going and we can keep Sara employed with Free Mom Hugs because she does such an amazing
No,
job.
thank you. Thank you, Carol. Do you have enough volunteers, you think, for what you're doing? Or, I mean, now that COVID's kind of, the country's reopening, what's your volunteer base looking like?
We have a lot of volunteers, but we can always use more.
Yeah. What I love about that is that you can pour into events that are happening around, you know, that others are planning, like the Second Chance Prom, or, but you can also make events yourself, you know, if it's a potluck in the park, or, you know, you're fortunate enough to have volunteers to do that, and it makes it easy, and it means so much to be
Yep,
able to.
in South Lyon, because we're a small, more rural town just north of Ann Arbor, we are doing more of a picnic in the park type of event, but some of the places in the UP were doing pride rides where they were like getting on bikes and biking through town. We've seen a lot of really cool, creative things coming out of our area.
Yeah.
Bay Area was doing just signs because of COVID. They didn't want to all get together, but they had these cool pride signs all over in the Bay Area. So
That'd
a
be
lot of cool
fun.
things happening.
Yeah, you know, something I've been chewing on that I want to be able to speak to is that how do we keep Pride going? You know, I understand Pride Month is so important and what it means. Did I tell you that I was in my 40s before I learned about like the significance of the Stonewall Inn? That just flabbergasted me. But how do we keep Pride going? You know, and my second thought to that is that once you're aware of what's happening in this community, then you see what's happening everywhere with any minority. You're suddenly very aware of what's happened, what's happening. And that's why it's so important to find out, you know, where your candidates stand and vote. It's so important.
Yep, like for example, Gretchen Whitmer just passed the ban on conversion therapy. There were a bunch of free mom huggers there in Lansing for that. A lot of us are activists in our local area. We totally encourage you to come and help us speak on a lot of these issues, from those types of things. And then also we like to keep Pride going. You know, there is no possible way that all of us that are on the state end could attend every event happening in June in Michigan, because it would be literally like just hundreds of things all over the state all at the same time. So this year, because of the COVID restriction delay, that's actually stretched a lot of our events out like through October and beyond, which is new for this year, but we'd still have events going beyond Pride. Like, for example, some of the Detroit Tiger games that we had another really great partner with the Detroit Pistons, and there were a couple.
Yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, so we try, we try to keep it going, because yeah, you're absolutely right. These, it doesn't just stop in June. It doesn't just happen then and then it's over. They need us all the time. So
yeah, remember those maps that I showed you? Remember those. It all seems like, everything wonderful and everything's cheery and all the wonderful things that have happened to Free Mom Hugs. But guess what? I got those maps at the front of my mind and those stories, and they are at the forefront of everything we do. And like I said, it seems like, everything's fun and games, but I remember that map, and that's the reality. That is the reality. So anyway, that's why I want to keep it going year round until every household is affirming, until conversion therapy is banned in every state. That's what we got to do. That's the mission. Sarah,
Right.
What do you think? You've been awful quiet over there.
Well, it looks like we got a great question about what are the future plans and hopes you have for Free Mom Hugs?
Well, that's a good question. I've said it before and I'll say it again, that the beautiful thing about Free Mom Hugs is that nobody knows what it looks like. We just see a need and we try to figure out a way to provide for it, to be a presence to it. And that's what we do. I hope really that we would have scholarships someday for our transgender friends to have surgeries that there's some people call them gender correction surgeries or gender reassignment surgeries. It's so important. I'd like to have a home where our transgender friends could maybe come and reside there and have all their needs met. I'm talking physically, spiritually, mentally, and to be able to leave that home and just have a happy life and just live authentically. And my son's not transgender, but I have a huge heart for the transgender community. There's more laws against them, anti-trans bills now than ever in the history of time. And I mean, they're being killed. They're fighting for their lives. We have moms in the private group making a list of safe states where they can raise their transgender children. Do you see? So there's a sense of urgency there, but scholarships, of course, the prayer is that we wouldn't need free mom hugs to this degree, to this, that we just celebrate everybody, right? But yeah, vision is, so far that's what I can see, scholarships and safe places.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. I had a question for you.
Yeah.
I think it's so beautiful what you've done standing in as a mom at same-sex weddings. So I was wondering if you could share what that feels like for you and if you stay in touch with any of them. I'm just curious.
Yes. Honestly, it's bittersweet, really, because I know even though I make myself solely available from anything to setting the table to helping with the dress or hair or whatever the need is, that's what I do. But it's bittersweet because the parent's not there and I'm not their parents. You know what I mean? They're happy to see me. They're always so appreciative, but the reality is they're not there. And the reality is more times than not, the parents will regret not, because, sometimes they'll come around later and it's one of their biggest regrets that they didn't show up, even though they might not have been on board 100%, but they show up still. And when they don't, they lose that privilege, and it just alienates and estranges the couples from their parents. So I'm happy to be there. I will always be there. We have volunteers that will be there. Chapter leaders will be there. But we hope parents will come around. But if they don't, and if they won't, we will. And I also started I don't know if officiating is the right word, but I've overseen 2 funerals for the community. One where they were not welcome in the funeral home, or their body wasn't. And so we made accommodations and we had done something for that. And then, yeah, that's recent. Anyway, sorry. What else?
That's an interesting point, because there was actually a person, there was a lawsuit currently in Michigan, and it was a person that had transitioned to female and had actually filed a very large lawsuit against the funeral home that she was working in, because the funeral home was not accepting of the fact that she had transitioned to a female. And you are bringing up an extremely important point that, we're not just seeing weddings where families are not representing or supporting, but major events in life, baptisms, funerals, you name it. We're hearing a lot of stories on the state end of things along this line, and it is so important to find those points where people aren't plugged in, so we can help them and make them feel more supported through that.
Yeah, and all that begins by showing up at a pride parade or a pride festival, because you get plugged in, you meet people, you have conversations, you just start that bond, that relationship, and soon you'll be a chosen family. You'll stand in, you'll go to funerals, you'll welcome grandbabies, and just enjoy the community. Hi, Lisa and Shay. Are you Lisa or Shay?
I'm Lisa. My daughter Shay is sitting over here.
Hi, Shay.
She's giving our dog eye drops right now. But so I have a daughter Shay who is, I think, are you still identifying as bi or for now? Anyway, and I also have a trans daughter. And and thank you, Adrian, so much for introducing me to Free Mom Hugs. Adrian and I have gone and done it locally, and it was amazing. And but I just have a question, because I would love, so my younger trans child, I'm divorced from my kid's dad, remarried, and so my younger one is not in touch with their father at all because he was not accepting at all. And so it's been 2 years this summer. And anyway, so I don't understand how you cannot be supportive of your child. And I would love to do like stand in at weddings or whatever. So I was just wondering how to get more involved with doing something like that.
Well, I mean, you're doing it just by, well, first of all, thank you for providing a safe place for your beautiful children and allowing them space to show you who they are. And I think that's just the best thing and the most important. And then just by volunteering with Free Mom Hugs, getting plugged into the community. And Lisa, before you know it, you're going to be standing in, you're going to be showing up, you're going to be invited, you're going to be part of the family, a chosen family. And I mean, let's talk again this time next year.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Adrian and I did it, 2 summers ago, and then COVID hit. So we couldn't do anything last summer.
I know, it was hard.
I know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back involved. And
Me too.
but yes, and again, my children were raised in a Christian home, and I think that's a big reason why their dad had such a hard time with it. But
99.9% of the time, that's the issue. That's the issue. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, and actually Shay was in a relationship in college with a female, and her parents were not, I think they were Southern Baptist, Texas, and I think that was the big demise of their relationship because it just couldn't survive.
So unfortunate. Yeah. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah. But thank you for everything you've done and for
thank you. Thank you
bringing the visibility.
Thank you. I love, Free Mom Hugs because it just gives a platform for wonderful people to do something. And, Carol, Adrian, Lisa, thank you for showing up. And that's what it's all about. It's just, and I might be the face of it now, but I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one, and I'm not the last one either. And if, like I said earlier, if something happened to me today, I know that it could keep on going, keep on trucking because of you. And you, and you, and you.
I feel like we need a mom hug right now, Sarah.
I know. Here.
Group hug. Yeah. Aw.
Yeah. That's
Thank
good.
you.
I can't wait to get, our pride is this weekend. Our
Oh,
pride is this weekend.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What time are you showing up? How early does this get going?
Like 7 a.m. Friday. Well, the Jeep's going to go. Parker's going to drive the Jeep. And then we're going to set up and everything. And then Saturday we'll be out there most of the day and Sunday. But I love it. It's just energizing. It's exhausting, but it's energizing too. And just seeing everybody again, it's going to be so wonderful just to see all the mama bears. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, awesome. Well, send some love to those beautiful people in Oklahoma City from us, okay?
You mamas do the same. And I love that moms come in all shapes and sizes. And I just love that we can just represent so beautifully. So thank you. And dads too, and allies. So thank you.
Yes, because allies can do free mom hugs too, right? You don't have to be a mom.
All are welcome as long as you're affirming. That's the only requirement. Got to be affirming.
Well, awesome. Well, Carol, thanks for representing the Michigan chapter here. Let's keep talking too. And as we approach September and October with Motor City and Ferndale, we can connect with our Pride and Joy group as well in Novi and bring some people out who've never done it before and really just share so much love.
Yeah, well, I
We
hope to join you someday.
absolutely love to have you.
Yeah, that would be
absolutely.
Well, I hope to join you someday myself. Sara, library, thank you so much for the invitation. It's so important that we have conversations like this. I'm just so thankful that you included me. And I'm going to send those resources to Sara, and that way you can save them in your file if someone's looking for them. It'll have information on the private group for moms, and they have private groups for families and youth too. Liz does an amazing job where she's at. And yeah, so happy Pride. And think of ways to keep it going. Think of ways to celebrate the community, to honor them, include them in every day. And thank you so much, because we're making the world better together.
Thank
All
you.
right, Sara, you're being too loud over there, so I'm gonna have to hang up.
Thank you, Sara.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. So thank you for volunteering your time for us today.
Yeah. All right, friends.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sara.
Love. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sara. Thank you to everyone at the library. Really
All right.
appreciate you all.
Yep. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you. You too.
All
Thanks,
right.
Sara.
See you
Later.
next time.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.